Hello, and welcome to week 24 in this Stitched Circle Show Challenge. If you not know what this is or you are new here on my channel, please look below, find the playlist and find week 1. There I will explain everything about what this Stitched Circle Show Challenge with Dogma Rules is about. My name is Lisbeth and I'm Danish, so pardon for my little bumpy English, but I think you can see what I'm doing. But each week we do a stitched circle of some kind. It could be in both paper or in fabric, and it could be one circle or several circles, or anything I come up with for this week's set of Dogma Rules. And Dogma for a Danish person has nothing to do with religion. It is just, in this case, it just means a simple set of rules you set yourself, or in this case, I set them for you to get going if you don't know what to do. It is always good to have rules, then you can take it from there, and you can always break the rules. There is no embroidery police who will come after you and say, but I would really recommend you try to follow the rules here in the piece you make for this challenge. Then you can always make more of them and work further with them and develop things. That is quite fine, and I would like that. I keep mine here in this little book, and there also is a link for how to sew such a cover together, not to make the fabric for the cover, but just sewing it together. And there also is a link for a Facebook group. You can apply, but don't apply unless you want to do the small embroideries here every week. I'm not interested in having people in the group who doesn't want to be an active member of the community. And you can say why, but you can look here if you're interested, or you can look other places, but people are putting efforts in making their embroideries, and they are looking on each other's embroideries, and they get inspired perhaps, and are nice to each other. So I would like it to be this way, and not just people looking and not participating or being active and give something to the group. So please apply if you want to do the challenge, or else don't apply. You have to answer 3 questions, and I won't let you in if you don't answer them. But I don't think I have any more things to say right now, and I pardon all of you who are following this challenge and knows me, and I have to say this every time, but you never know who just hit this video here. And of course I like as many as possible to do this, because it is close to my heart, this Dogma Rule embroidery things here. And let me see here, that is where I left you last time. So here I will flip my page over and put this far away, because we are going to paint on our fabrics today, so I don't want to get splatters or anything on this, so I will take it away, and then I will tell you about the rules, and then we can get going. So the rules here for week 24 is 2 pieces of white or cream fabric, and you need 2 pieces if you want to have a background to sew on. If you don't need that, you only need 1 piece. And I have taken a piece of stout and some satin weaving light one, and something from an old pillowcase or duvet cover, I can't remember, but things like this here. And then we will have to paint it with watercolor paint, or if you don't have that, you can use coffee or tea. But I will show all 3 ways, all the ways on the different fabrics here. And when you have dyed, painted the fabric, crumple them up to a little ball and put them on a plate and let them sit there to dry by themselves. Don't pick them up before they are dried by themselves, and then you can take, depending where you're living, from the rest of the day until tomorrow. I would think it is dry, but if you live somewhere hot, perhaps it will only take a couple of hours. But let it be, and don't dry it with a hairdryer or anything. It is best if it dries by itself. But when the fabric is dry, you perhaps want to iron it. I don't love my iron, so I seldom do, but you can iron it if you want to. And then you will have to trace 3 circles in different sizes, and they have to overlap each other. But I will show you also. That was rule number 2. And rule number 3 is only to use straight stitches, and by that I mean like tap stitches, is I think perhaps they also are called. And you have to sew them. If that is the line you have traced, you have to sew them vertical over the traced line. And you decide how long, small, and how much space you want between them. That is up to you. For the thread, I want you to use 3 different colors, one for each of the circles or rings you have traced. And I want you to use colors in the same color family as your fabric. So if you have painted your fabric blue, I want you to use different blue colors. If you have painted it orange, use different orange or yellowish colors. That is what I mean by that. But that was the 4 Dogma rules for week 24, and of course I will write them here below under the video, and there all the other links are also. But let's get started. As you perhaps can see, I don't work on my normal gray felt because I'm playing with water now. But to protect my table a little, I've just taken such a plastic sheet protector, and I can work on that. And I have these 3 different kinds of fabrics. Here I have made my tea, and I have put 3 bags in it, so it is quite strong. So if I, for instance, take this little piece here, you can take a spoon, or if you have a pipette like I have, you can use that. But before I do anything, I will not make it totally soaking wet. I have a spritzer here. I think I just will give it a spritz here, like this. And then I can take this here. If you don't have such a thing, use a spoon, or you can also use, if you have a watercolor paintbrush that can obtain a lot of water, you can use that. And then I will just move it around. And oh, it smells quite nice. I like to I like to drink Earl Grey tea. So there's a nice smell here in my room here. So I think it is enough of that. I only do it with these small pieces here, but you could take a much bigger sheet, because then you could cut off what you want to use, where on the big piece you want to use it, because it is perhaps easier to crumple up and do some things with it when you do it like this. So I have a plate here. I will just put it on my plate, and I can perhaps put a little more into it here. And then I will just let it sit there for drying. There will be hopefully some lovely marks on it. That was the first thing I want to do. Then there's the next thing, and now I have water here, but who cares? I will take this piece here. Yeah, I can dry it with this one. I don't think it matters so much. Now I will take, I have this, in Danish they are called Ecoline, and I think it is a known brand all over the world. But you can also use watercolor if you have in a tube or a pan. Then you will just have to make a potion of it. Yeah, I think my fingers are wet, so I would. Oh, there it is. So I will again put a little of it here on a plate because it is a quite strong color. There is a lot of pigments in this watercolor here, so I will dilute it like this here. And then again I will spritz my, and I can see there's come a little tea on it, but I don't think that matters. So now it is wet, but not totally soaking wet, but it probably will be that now. And then I will just paint it. And you can also do with this with acrylic paint, but you have to dilute it quite heavily, or you have to have a textile medium to put in, because else it will be, yeah, it goes plasticky, because acrylic paint is plastic, made up of plastics, but and it is, when it's dry, it is not so nice to stitch into. See here. And if you want some some heavier marks some places, you can always dab a little of it here, and you can see it spreads out because it's fabric like this. But that's up to you to play with it. And again I will take it and squeeze it up as a little ball, and perhaps dry this up here, and take my plate again and put it there. And here I think I will also just drip some things in the and then I will let it dry. So that is this will be a quite funny piece here, and it will have all kinds of colors. And I think I will spray it, and then I will just wipe everything off with it, and then it perhaps ends up like something I can use sometime. Again, I think I will go in here to give it a little more color. So again, you can see I've got a nice piece of fabric here. Again, I will crumple that up and let it dry by itself. And I will do the same here. piece. And hurry to put the lid on here because I'm world champion in making my, I think I will take the dark one here, of getting paint all over my table and paint where I don't want it. But you can use coffee also if you don't have to drink tea, and that's up to you. Oh, that's a nice color, but a strong one. So you can see now I'm just putting plain water on here to see if I can dilute it a little. I'm not interested in it getting so dark so it is impossible to put so much paint on it so I can't stitch on it. But that's up to you how you would do it. But perhaps it is easier to make bigger pieces of fabric than these small ones, because it is easier to crumple them, and then you have pieces you always can sew on afterwards. This, so again I will just crumple this up. Now I have paint all over my fingers again here, and I think I will again drop some small drops. Like this, and then I will let it dry by itself, and I will wait until tomorrow. But you can see I have a lot of paint here, so I think I will just wipe it off and pull this here down here. And again, it is quite experimental to do this here. You never know what you get. And again, I will just wipe this off. And I will crumple that up. It is not a square, so I will use it for something else and put it on my plate to dry. So see you again tomorrow when my fabric is dry. Good morning, good morning. So it's the next day and all my small pieces of fabric, crumpled fabric, are dry. So I will just unravel them and see how they look. This one here is the tea dyed one, and you can see there are some marks here in the fabric, but I will iron them, and then it is perhaps easier to see how they look. I am not a big fan of ironing things, but in this case I think it would help. This was the blue one, and there's another blue one here. It's the different kind of fabrics. Yeah, this is a little different one. This was for a pillowcase or a duvet cover. And you can see it makes nice marks in the fabric, crumpling the fabric up like this. Yeah, it is a little damp, this one yet, but it was also a bigger piece. You can see here there's a bigger difference. But you can use any colors of what you want. And this is it's both blue and red, and I really don't like this one, but you never know what you're going to need for something in some way along the line. And here, That is also strange. There must have been some blue left somewhere, but I will iron them and then I can show them to you. I have ironed the pieces and you can see I have ironed them, but I have still some marks there. I think you would iron them even more if you don't want these marks there, but I like these marks. But there you can see some color variation, and on the other side there isn't so much, but I think it's a nice piece of fabric, this one here. And this was the tea-dyed one, and here are the blue ones on that side, and they are a little different on the side, on each side, so you can decide which one of them you like to use. This is a very flimsy fabric, this one, and there is this blue one. It's a little ordinary cotton of some kind, I think. It is a little lighter on the back side, and they will always dry up a little lighter. But the nice thing about coloring with your fluid watercolors or diluted normal watercolors is you can't, as the fabric isn't stiff or plasticky or anything, so it is totally fine to stitch into. And here are orange one. I liked that one. And here is this one. It is really funny, this one here, with some strong marks here. And there I really don't know what is happening here, but I don't like the colors of this. They are blue and red at the same time, but you never know when you can use them for something. So I will decide which one of them I will use, and then I will start tracing my rings and start sewing. So I decided to go for this one, and it looks a little darker here when I'm looking on my phone here up here, but it is not a very thick piece of fabric. It is a little flimsy, so I just cut a piece of an old pillowcase or something off here in slightly smaller size, and then I will just do the invisible basting all the way around. And you have seen me doing this many times before. And I have also changed my normal substrate here with this piece here, because it was hard to see what I was doing. The blue and the gray went nearly melt together, but I come up and then I go back 2 or 3 small threads, not small threads, but threads, and then I come up about 1 centimeter ahead, the tiniest back stitch and ahead of you, and that is all I do. And I will do this all the way around. If you are sewing in a hoop or you don't need to do this, but I think it is nicer to have something more sturdy to hold on to than just this flimsy piece of fabric, because I don't use a hoop for this here. But I will do that, and then I will trace my circles. So done with the invisible basting, and you can see it is just some long stitches on the back and some very small ones you hardly can see on the front. And I just found a sewing thread that matches the color, so you can hardly see it, and that is also the meaning of doing it like this. But now I have to trace the 3 circles as the rule says, and I have such a template as this. If you don't have that, you can use anything round in 3 different sizes, and I think I can squeeze this one in here, so I will go with this here, and I will just take my pencil, because I know I will be stitching over it, so I can really trace it so it is very visible, and I think it is now. You can trace the 2 others now also, but I know my lines they disappear a little because it is only graphite, and so if you have a marker that doesn't disappear as quickly as this one perhaps does, you can make the mold free, and I think I will make the mold free now, and I can always highlight them again. But this was that one, and then I think I will see if I can squeeze this one in here. So they are overlapping here now. Where is this one? And I don't want it to be exactly ending there, so I would have to go further down or higher up. Yeah, that's just me. I think I would go a little further up. And then I would trace this one here. That was number 2. And then I will take a small one and put it up here, I think. Yeah, like this. There. But you can place them any way you want, but they have to overlap each other, like the rings in the Olympic, but only 3 of them. And perhaps I can come in a little closer. Yeah, there's a ring, and there's a ring, and there's a ring. And now I will start the stitching. I will thread my needle and be back. I have chosen 3 blue colors. I think looks nice. These 2, this is a very dark blue one, nearly black, but it is blue, and a light blue and a middle blue. And I don't know if I think this is the greatest color here for this, but it's the only blue I have. There's somewhere between these 2. Blue isn't the color I normally gravitate to go to, but it was the fabric I liked best. And so I think I will use the blue one here and start making the biggest circle. And as I said in the Dogma Rules, you will use straight stitches that is going vertical over the line or up to the line. That's up to you how far you will make them. But I think I will make mine something like this. So I think I will go up in the line here. And that is what I mean by doing them vertical. If I was going round in a circle, I would do running stitches, and that is not what I mean here. And you can choose how far you want to have between the stitches, or how close you want them, or how long you want them. That is up to you. But I am following the line there and trying to make them somehow even, my stitches. But you don't have to. You can make them all different lengths. That is up to you. So I will just do as I fancy to do during the process. So here they are, the small straight vertical stitches. Okay, I will stitch a little further so you better can see it. You can see I have been sewing this there, and now I come to the point where there are 2 lines are crossing each other, And now you have to decide, do you want to have this as a full circle, and that is the stitch that's like it's above, and this other circle is going under. That is up to you. But I think I will have my next circle be the one on top, so it is easier to sew this one first here, and then I can go as close as I can, and then I can start here and go further that way. So I will just take my needle out of this thread here, and then I will find the next color here, and I think I will go for the light one there. And then I will start up exactly the same way as I did on it's the middle blue color, that I will call it, or the biggest circle. So again, I will just make some lines, and then here I think I will start here, so it is perhaps a little more visible to see what I'm doing. And perhaps I can make them a little longer in this round here. And where am I? I am here. Yeah. I don't know how much bigger they are, but you can see I'm following that line now. But I will sew this circle until I reach another point where it's crossing something, and then I would decide what to do there. Okay, so I had no more thread there, but I can see there I will hit the smallest circle. So I think I will carry on with my darkest one and go up here and see how I will do it up here when there's a lot happening there. So what is going over and under, I will decide when I come up there. But I will sew this dark blue line up to here, and perhaps since this is going under here, the blue, perhaps I wanted it to go over there, or perhaps under, and then it could go, yeah, I don't know that yet, but that's the questions you will have to answer yourself when you come to that point. But you can see here now I am there. And there. And I just hit the outer line there. And then perhaps you will have to take a smaller stitch here to make it there. And then you can start up here again and hit the outer line there. And here you can perhaps take a smaller stitch there. And now I'm ready for going around again. And these were a little smaller stitches than the light blue one, so I will have to remember that. It is so, it's like your hands remember what you were doing. So if you're changing the length of your stitches, here now I will take care, so I remember to do them a little smaller than I did in the light blue color there. But you can already see here now what I mean by going over and under. But I will go as far up here as I can and decide what to do on the next step. So now again I am near to a point where there's two lines crossing, and I think I have decided that this little circle here, since it is so small, I would let it be the one who is on top, or one who's like there. So I will stitch all the way from there until there. Perhaps I will make a gap there and let it go under there, because there's not much happening there, but there's a lot happening right there. And it is, I don't know if you can have this in your head and figure out how to do this and that. I can't, so I would take it a little by little and see what will come out of this. But I had taken the middle color thread and I will only do some small stitches here. So let me see here. Yeah, I will start here and see how it goes. No, it is my darkest thread here. So I will make them small, the stitches here. It is also a little confusing, because these lines, your head thinks, oh, that's something, but that line isn't. There isn't happening anything right there. It is happening there and there and there. So yeah, my head gets a little confused, but I think it will end up nice. So far I like it. And again, I shall have to remember to do smaller stitches, because my hand now are used to making them another size. Oh, I get tangled up in this one here. So I will just continue all the way around with this dark color. And maybe it is easier to see what to do next when I have done this dark circle here with smaller stitches. I will be back. So this is how my piece ended up. And you can see some places it is going, the circle or ring are going over, and some places it is going under, and that is up to you when you will do, how you will do it. But three different colors and the same color scheme as your fabric is. And it really looks nice, the fabric, I think, and it looks really as it is curled or crumpled. But it is iron flat, so yeah, I really like the look of it. I have already written the Dogma Rules here in my book, so again I will have it this way here. So I will take some double-sided tape, and you can of course sew yours in your book. If you have a book, it isn't a must you have a book. You could do whatever you want to do with your pieces. Put them in a box, sew them on an old sheet, make a scroll, buy a sketchbook, yeah. Do whatever you fancy to do with your pieces. But when this year is over, you will have a fine amount. Yeah, you will have 52 swatches or small embroidered pieces you can look back on, and you can decide or get inspired looking at them and think, oh, I can use that for this, and I can use this for that, and I will do this here again because that was such a nice way and I can work further on it. So it is really a lovely thing to have. Already now I get so happy when I look in my book. And yeah, I can just come up a little further here, like this. Of course, I have chosen many different colors and it reflects my taste here, the book, but hopefully you have made your small samples like you like them. So that is an important thing, to enjoy what you're doing. But please try to stick to the rules and not do any wild inventions on these pieces. You can make more and develop more on other pieces, but please try to stick to the rules. Perhaps some of the things you have come up with is something I would put in further in the challenge here. So yeah, please stick to the rules the best you can. But of course you have to do or be you. So if there's something that really makes your hair go wild, you don't have to do it. But yeah, I will take a close-ups and at the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed this challenge, and I hope you will give it a go yourself. I hope you have been inspired and you have learned some tips and tricks on how to do several things. And I think the thing about dyeing your fabric with a fluid watercolor is a very nice way, and I think I will make another video where I perhaps can do some bigger pieces or so, but we will see how that goes. But if you have enjoyed this, please give my video a thumbs up and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. And please spread the news about this challenge here. Perhaps you know others who would like to participate. There's no need to apply for this group if you don't want to participate, for the Facebook group if you don't want to participate. It is for people who want to participate and not just curious people. There are lots of other things you can look at on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and other places. But we who are doing the challenges are really enjoying seeing each other's embroideries every week. There's a little bell, hit that if you want to there's a notification, then you will give I think you will have a mail saying now there's a new video up. You can also do that. But I would just say take care and be creative, and I hope to see really a lot of embroideries on Instagram and on the Facebook group. So I would only say bye-bye for now. Hej hej.